Hey, um, I want to talk about a video that I've just watched. I'm going to try not to raise my voice too loudly because, again, um, so basically, I've just watched this video which shows a female boxer from Sweden, Karen Kings is her name. I don't know if she's a professional or an experienced amateur, but anyway, she's a boxer. And the video shows her in a fight. Well, really, I think it's a heavy dose of sparring with a lanky tall guy, and the title of the video is "Girl Beats Up Guy in Boxing" or something like that. Anyway, the guy is clearly not skilled at fighting. He's sort of thrown around. He's whimpering. He comes across as very physically weak. Um, I do suspect it's staged. I can't help but think that it is staged based on. I'll show you the video so that you can judge for yourself. But this is the general thing I want to get to, which is the whole concept of girls fighting guys in boxing. Um, I know on one or two occasions there have been professionals who have got attention for for getting into rhetoric about mixed gender fights. It's happened in other sports where you've had mixed gender tennis matches, called Battle of the Sexes and so on. Obviously, the implications in a sport like boxing are a lot more profound because it's a physical sport. Um, I have to say I'm pretty traditionalist in this, in that I'm dead set against it. I just don't think there's any rational reason why a man should fight a woman at in a in a real fight. Um, and I'm somewhat concerned we're going to get to a point where it's going to become politically incorrect to say that. And that is very, very unfortunate, very sad indeed. In fact, if that day comes, I will totally abandon the sport of boxing because it will not be. I just don't think that will be right at all. Anyway, about this video and about the idea of women fighting men. Okay, people were talking about the users on the video were calling the guy a wimp and a pussy, etc., etc. You can imagine the sort of things they would be saying. Others were saying, "Oh, this shows girl power," and this sort of thing. Coming from Sweden, I'm not that surprised given the strength of feminism in that country, but I won't read too much into that because I'm sure you can find similar things in the UK. But firstly, I want to make a disclaimer before I continue. If you're a woman and you are into the sport of boxing or you do boxing, please don't misunderstand me. This is not an attack on women doing boxing. That's something I've got no problem with. I believe that women should have all the opportunities men have. Um, and I think that that is, I've really no problem with that. Also, I don't sort of subscribe to this idea that all women are physically weaker than all men. That's clearly not true. There are female boxers out there like Anne Wolf, Neda Ali, Cecilia Brackhouse is number one pound for pound in the world at the moment, and others who are clearly very skilled athletes. And these are fighters. They're professional fighters, and they could probably beat the majority of men. Um, but they are an exception. They're athletes. They're not average women. They are athletes who train hard every week to do what they're doing. So if you get a professional female athlete who trains, who earns a living from this, of course she's going to be better than a guy who's never entered a ring. That goes without saying. And it is a bit of a paradox when the people who are talking about girl power, i.e., feminists, have a contradiction with this attitude. Because on one hand, they're saying that it should be all about equality and girls like showing their strength and all this sort of thing. Although to be fair, there's probably some feminists who would want women to express their strength in other ways. But the point about this is those feminists who do take that position, they don't really believe in equality. because if they did, they would be saying that it's not fair to put a man in there who has no fighting experience. So this woman, Karen Keynes, she's not doing herself any favors as far as I'm concerned. She's not showing herself to be a great athlete because clearly this guy she's fighting, either he's deliberately making himself weak, someone has suggested that, or he really is, and then she's just beating up like a regular person when she is presumably a professional athlete. I'm going to check her out on BoxRec to see if she really is a professional boxer or she's just a skilled amateur. Um, but anyway, about the whole idea of a man, the man will always be in a more uncomfortable position. Why? I'll tell you why. Because a woman has nothing to lose. She can give her all. Um, if she wanted to, she could inflict damage. She could do whatever she wants, right? And she feels that she's got something to prove, like, oh, I'm a woman, I want to show I'm strong, etc. Now consider the position of the man. He can't win. He can't win. This is why. If he really does fight, okay, really consider this. If he really does fight, if he uses his strength, and if he is a fighter and he's had experience and he uses his strength, then people will say he is a thug, he's a woman beater, etc., etc. Society rightly condemns violence against women, and as a man, I abhor it. I utterly abhor it. So society rightly doesn't have a good image of men who have no problem with beating women. Um, so most men in a physical confrontation with a woman will hold back. It's a fact. I'm not saying every man. I know there are guys out there who wouldn't. And by the way, I'm not talking here about self-defense situations. I'm talking here about a pitched fight. I'm not talking about someone's attack in the street or something. I covered that in the video. So most men will hold back because they know that if they have some physical strength, even put it this way, an average man is stronger than an average woman. It's a fact. So the average man is going to hold back in a fight with a woman, even if it's just sparring. It's a fact, and I don't think anyone can honestly dispute that. Um, Now, if he really holds back and he allows himself to be beaten, and like I say, she's not holding back. She's given everything. People will say, "Oh, look, he's a wimp. He's been beaten by a woman. He got his ass kicked by a woman, etc., etc., etc." Girl power. This is bullshit. This is utter bullshit because people aren't looking at the fact that he cannot win whatever he does. If he does give his all and he wins, he's not going to be praised for it. People are just going to say, "Oh, he's a thug." Okay. If he doesn't give his all and he gets beaten, people say he's a pushover. He's a wimp. So I don't know if this video was set up or not, but the concept behind the video about girl power, it doesn't prove anything because the guy in the video is clearly not a boxer. Um, and I still believe that most male fighters would not want to fight a woman because not because they think that they would be humiliated about being beaten, but they know that if they use their full strength, they will get a bad reputation for being a woman beater. There was one professional male boxer a while back. He wasn't a well-known guy, but he said he was willing to accept a challenge. I believe it was from Ann Wolf. Although, don't quote me on that. There may have been someone else. But anyway, there was a high-profile female boxer had challenged him, and he said he was willing to do it. I don't think that fight ever went ahead. I hope it never does. Um, True equality in this would be allowing women to have the opportunity to box. I don't believe equality is men and women fighting against each other, simply because men and women are not built equally. It's a simple fact. Yes, you get tough women. Yes, you get women who can beat men, but not who can beat. Put it this way: if you have the toughest male boxer versus the toughest female boxer, the toughest male boxer will win, and any honest person would concede that. Say, well, let's say who is the toughest male boxer? I don't know, maybe Gennady Golovkin. I'm not talking about the best, I'm talking about the toughest. So let's say Gennady Golovkin versus toughest female boxer. I don't know, I don't follow female boxing, but let's say I'm Wolf, right? Almost certainly Golovkin would win. Simply because the brute strength of the toughest man is going to be stronger than the brute strength of the toughest woman. That's not sexism, it's just biology, it's fact, okay? And I have to say, this whole idea sits very uncomfortably with me. I have sparred with women, and I have to admit I was uneasy with it. And if they watch this, they probably won't like what I'm saying. But that shouldn't be intended as disrespectful towards them as fighters. They were very good fighters. Um, but even in sparring, I'm not comfortable sparring with a girl. I'm just not comfortable doing it. And if I was running a gym, I would create an equal opportunities environment in the sense that I would absolutely um, provide a platform for women to box and so on. But I just believe that some things need to be kept the way they are. I don't think men and women should engage in fighting. Full stop. I just don't. So I do believe we're going to get to a point in the not so distant future where, thankfully, at the moment that isn't the case. But I do believe within my lifetime, see a situation where people have no problem with men and women fighting. If that ever happens, to hell with the sport of boxing. I will abandon it because to me it's just not. It will just destroy the entire sport. For all the reasons that I've stated. I think we need to accept that there are differences between men and women. That's not sexism. It is just a fact. So, final thoughts. I believe in equal opportunity. I'm nothing against um, the opportunity for women to box. Am I a fan? No, not particularly. I never watch women's boxing, and I'm not going to pretend I'm a fan. I'm just not. Um, that's not to take anything away from the the work that those women put in and the skill they have or anything like that. I just don't enjoy watching it, and I don't have to. And I am entitled to my views. This is something that is inevitably contentious within the boxing fans community. Um, but what can I think if people don't speak up on things, then you get to a point where everything changes so radically that things just go unchecked, and unless you subscribe to it, then you're accused of being backward or Stone Age or whatever. Certain things just have to be different between men and women. Women should fight women, men should fight men. Let me know your thoughts. Um, if you're a female boxer, I'd like to know what you think of this. I mean, you're going to no doubt say that I'm sexist, etc., etc. But do you not understand that even if you personally have no problem with a man using full force, and like the girls I sparred with were like, "Oh, we need this as much as you, don't hold back," but it didn't change the fact I was uncomfortable with it. I'm not going to give a girl a bloody nose, and I don't particularly want her to give me a bloody nose. In combat with a man, it's totally different because it's intended. I think you need to be a fighter to understand what I'm saying. Um, so to me, it's just rubbish. I know what I'm saying here is being correct, but whatever. Um, okay, let me know your thoughts.